Okay, so if you think the path to wealth means, decades of saving every penny, pumping money into index funds, and maybe retiring right when you're worn out, well, this deep dive might shake things up for you.
Yeah, we're looking at sources today that flat out call that whole get rich slow idea a great deception.
That's pretty strong language.
It is. And the core argument we're analyzing is that this traditional path, what the sources call the slow lane, it's so accepted, but it arguably steers most people toward a lifetime of mediocrity.
Mediocrity. So you get there eventually, maybe.
Maybe. But the wealth often shows up too late to enjoy it properly. That's the critique.
It really reframes what success looks like, doesn't it? So our mission here is to unpack that critique and look at the alternative these sources propose.
Right. And the material lays out three really distinct financial roadmaps. Understanding them helps you pinpoint, where you might be right now.
What are they?
Okay, so first, there's the sidewalk. That leads straight to poverty, basically. Debt, definitely not. Second, the slow lane. That's your typical job, conservative investments. The path to, as we said, mediocrity.
The standard path.
The standard path. And third, the fast lane. This one's framed as the roadmap engineered for, rapid wealth and real personal freedom.
All right, let's start where most people probably find themselves. The slow lane. Reading through the material, the biggest knock against it seems to be this idea of using your time as currency.
Exactly. You clock in, you trade hours for dollars, and then you kind of hope compound interest does its thing over decades.
So just relying on your 401k or standard index funds plus your salary, the sources say your chances of getting truly wealthy before you're old are
incredibly slim. That's the quote. It's a system built on essentially deferred living, hoping for freedom later.
Which brings us to this really provocative phrase they use, calling our regular job the criminal trade. I mean, wow. Billions of people have jobs. How do they justify that?
Yeah, it's designed to grab your attention, for sure. It's not really knocking the work itself, but the underlying structure, the system of leverage. The sources describe a typical job as a form of human domestication, if you can believe it.
Domestication.
Yeah, the idea is you're selling your freedom to get freedom. You give up the best, most energetic 40 or 50 years of your life to an employer.
Hoping the savings will eventually buy you back some freedom at the end.
Exactly. And it ties into this pay yourself last idea. Think about it. Taxes come out first. The company takes its profit.
Right.
What's left for you to save is at the end of the line.
And then you hope the market cooperates over 40 years.
Right. It's summed up with the 5-for-2 analogy. You trade 5 days of your life, your labor.
So just 2 days off. Weekends.
Yeah. The sources actually quantify that as a negative return on life.
A negative return. Because you're giving up more than you're getting back in terms of actual free time.
That's the argument. And mathematically, it's rooted in something called ULL, uncontrollable limited leverage.
ULL. Okay, break that down.
It's the cage, basically. Your wealth potential is capped severely because your main income source, your salary, is tied directly to your time.
All right, there are only 24 hours in a day.
And you can't really control how fast compound interest grows, can you? You're totally dependent on two things you can't manage, your limited time and how the market behaves.
So let's make that real. If I'm a, say, top-tier consultant charging $200 an hour...
Good money.
Good money. But I can only ever make $200 times the hours I can physically work without, collapsing.
That is ULL perfectly illustrated. Your earning potential is finite because you are the system. You have to be there the moment you stop working.
The income stops. That's the ceiling. That is the slow lane.
Exactly. Now, before we get to the escape rope, we should touch on the sidewalk, because that's the real danger zone.
Right. The path to poverty. What defines that mindset?
It's living paycheck to paycheck, often worse, prioritizing instant gratification, using credit cards for what the sources call faux wealth, looking rich.
So buying the fancy car on payments you can't really afford.
Exactly. The sidewalker has no real financial plan. They're just chasing the appearance of wealth. And that pursuit of faux wealth, the stuff, it actually destroys real wealth.
And how do they define real wealth? It's not just money, right?
No, not at all. Real wealth is defined by the wealth trinity, which is family, fitness, and freedom. Relationships, health, and control over your time.
So Sidewalker trades all three of those potentially for just stuff, immediate satisfaction.
That's the trap. Okay, so that reframes the goal entirely. It's not just about the dollars.
It's about time, health, relationships, freedom. Okay, let's talk about the alternative then. The fast lane. This is defined by CUL.
CUL, yeah. controllable unlimited leverage. This is the opposite of UL. This is where you, quote, remove the mathematical cage of time
How do you remove time from the equation?
by shifting the variables. If UL is based on limited time and uncontrollable markets, CUL introduces factors you can control in systems that work without you needing to be there constantly.
So there's a different wealth equation for the fast lane.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The slow lane is basically income hourly rate X hours worked, limited.
Right.
The fast lane formula is wealth equals net profit plus asset value. And that crucial part, net profit, breaks down further.
Okay.
Net profit equals unit sold X unit profit. See the difference?
Ah, okay. So suddenly, it's not about my time. It's about how many units I can sell or how much profit I make per unit. Both things I could potentially control and scale.
Precisely.
Yeah.
I could sell 10,000 units while I sleep, theoretically.
Oh,
We can't work 10,000 hours while I sleep.
this changes the whole game. But it requires a big mental shift, doesn't it?
Huge. The material calls it switch teams and playbooks. You have to consciously stop being primarily a consumer.
Which is what we're trained to be, right? From day one.
Constantly conditioned. Ads, society. It's all about consuming. You need to flip that script and become a producer first.
So less time scrolling and shopping, more time building, creating something of value.
That's the core idea. To consume richly, produce effectively. That's the mantra.
Produce first, then enjoy the consumption later.
Exactly. And the ultimate aim here is to completely divorce wealth from time. You do that by building what the sources call a money tree.
A money tree, like a business system.
A self-sustaining business
That's
system,
funny.
yeah. Something that generates passive income streams.
Yeah.
Ideally, way before you hit 65.
So real retirement isn't about age. It's just when your passive income covers your lifestyle.
That's it, whether you're 35 or 75. And this money tree, it grows from what they call money tree seedlings. There are 5 main types.
Okay, what are these seedlings?
Think rental systems like actual real estate, or maybe licensing intellectual property.
Yeah.
Then there are distribution systems, human resource systems.
Like employing people to run the system.
Right. Content systems, creating information products, books, courses, and maybe the most powerful one today, computer or software systems.
Software seems like the ultimate example of CUL, controllable unlimited leverage.
It really is. Because you build it once, maybe you update it, but it can scale to reach millions almost instantly. The cost to serve one more customer is often near zero.
And it works 247 globally.
Compare that leverage to, say, owning one rental house. Still potentially good, but limited geographically, needs maintenance, takes time. Software just scales incredibly well.
Okay, so the mindset shift is key. The math makes sense. But you can't just start any old business, right? The sources have rules, a filter.
Absolutely crucial. You need to vet your idea against the 5 fast lane commandments. It's an acronym. Sense.
Sense, okay.
And this sense framework lines up with something called the law of affection, which basically says to make millions of dollars, your business needs to impact millions of people.
Impact millions, either by reaching a lot of people or by impacting fewer people, but in a really significant way.
Exactly. Either scale reaching lots of people or magnitude a high profit per person because you're solving a major problem or providing massive value.
Got it. Let's go through sense. C is for.
Control. C1, control. This is non-negotiable. You absolutely have to be the driver of your business, not just a hitchhiker. Meaning, you can't build your entire empire on someone else's platform without owning the core process or customer relationship. Like being 100% reliant on, say, Amazon's marketplace rules or Facebook's algorithm.
Because they could change the rules overnight and wipe you out.
Exactly. The sources warn that giving up control like that sets you up for sudden, unexpected crashes. You might make money for a while, but it's fragile. It's like a high-paying job, not a true system you own.
You need to own the brand, the customer list, the system itself.
That's the ideal. Use platforms for reach, sure, but don't let them be your entire business.
Okay, C1, control. What about E and N, entry and need? Let's take entry first. The sources say that easy entry is actually a bad sign. That seems counterintuitive.
It does, right? But think about it. If anyone can start the same business tomorrow with, like, 0 skill or capital, what happens?
The market gets flooded. Everyone's doing the same thing. A race to the bottom on price.
Precisely. Saturation. Mediocrity reigns. To stand out in a market with no barriers to entry, you have to be truly exceptional. Most aren't. The fast lane often involves tackling things that are a bit harder, things others can't or won't do easily.
Okay, so difficulty can be a moat. What about N for need? This seems obvious, but the sources say it's often ignored.
Hugely ignored, especially by people following the do-what-you-love advice blindly.
The passion argument.
Yeah, look, passion is great. It provides fuel. But if your passion doesn't solve a real problem for other people or fill a genuine need or desire, the market just won't care. It won't pay you.
So you might love underwater basket weaving, but if nobody wants to buy underwater baskets...
That's a hobby, not a business. The rule is stark. Stop chasing money, start chasing needs. Solve problems. Ease pain points, offer value. Money flows to solutions, not just to passions.
That's a critical distinction, hobby versus business. Okay, last two letters, T and S, time and scale.
T is for time. This commandment is what really separates a fast-lane business from just a high-paying job or self-employment. The business must be able to operate and ideally grow independently of your direct hour-by-hour involvement. If the business only makes money when you are physically working in it.
Then, a business attached to your time is a job. I remember that quote.
That's the one. Even if it's your business. Think automation, systems, employees, outsourcing. Your time should eventually be spent working on the system, improving it, not being the system.
So, the master baker who works 16 hours a day in his single amazing bakery, that's a job, albeit a self-created one.
Likely a very demanding one, yeah. But the person who creates the recipes and systems then franchises that bakery concept across 100 locations run by others.
That's a fast lane system, divorced from their personal time.
Okay, which leads directly to the last one, S, scale. The business needs to have potential for unlimited scale to tack into that law of affection we mentioned.
Reach millions or impact significantly. Why is scale so vital for rapid wealth?
Because, simply put, tiny habitats create tiny wealth. If your business can only ever serve, say, your local neighborhood, your potential income is naturally capped.
Your habitat is too small.
Exactly. To make big money, you need big reach, volume, more customers, or big magnitude, high profit per customer, or ideally both. The fast lane encourages thinking big nationally, globally, right from the start. How can this scale?
Okay, sense, control, entry, need, time, scale. That's a powerful checklist for vetting any opportunity. So we have the mindset, the math, the commandments. What's the final piece? Because just having an idea that fits sense isn't enough.
Not even close. The sources are pretty blunt about this too. Ideas, even brilliant ones that tick all the sense boxes, are basically neurological flatulence without.
Okay, without.
Execution. Execution is king. It's the messy, difficult, absolutely essential process of turning that potential, that idea, into actual reality, into speed.
And execution isn't a straight line. It involves bumps, failures.
Totally. And that's another mindset difference. The slow laner often sees failure as like game over, proof they should quit.
Whereas the fast laner
sees failures as feedback, data points, information from the market telling you what's working, what's not, where to pivot, how to adjust. It's part of the process.
So wealth isn't about luck. It's about deliberate action and reaction.
Consistent, conscious choices. The sources talk about your life's steering wheel. Fastlanders grab that wheel. They build systems they control, focusing on variables they can influence. Slowlaners are more like passengers, relying on time and hoping the market treats them kindly.
And continuous learning, continuous improvement are key assets in that journey.
Absolutely. Acquiring knowledge, refining the system, adapting. That's how you maintain control and leverage.
Okay, let's bring this home. A final thought for everyone listening, something to really chew on.
Well, going back to that core trade-off, if you are currently trading 5 days of your life for just 2 days of freedom every single week.
That 5-for-2 deal.
Yeah. You're spending your most precious resource time, which you can never get back. The sources argue that the younger you are, the more powerful your choices are right now because you have more time to leverage.
But that power fades every year you stay on the default path.
It diminishes. So the question to ask yourself is, how does changing your financial roadmap today change the trajectory of the rest of your life? Don't wait for someday. That's the slow lane talking.